And today my audience is my dad, my niece, and my niece's friend. My topic today is Kowloon City, and today I'm going to discuss the impacts it has had on culture, and and how people always wonder what will happen if a lot of people stay in one small room. Well, Kowloon City is a good representation of what will happen. Kowloon City has a location that's probably involved in things people like video games, architecture style, and games. Instant influence and knowledge of media information is a reason why people use it as a prime example of city history. People always wonder why it's so bad for a city to be overpopulated, but it tends to be the opposite. It's totally dangerous. Today I'll be talking about the development of Kowloon City, the consequences of the city, and how it influenced modern culture. First, let's talk about the development of Kowloon City. Hong Kong Island was given to Great Britain after the British and Chinese government signed the Treaty of Nanjing to find peace after the First Opium War. Kowloon City was about 26,000 meters in size, but it was granted to the British as territory for themselves. Although it was granted to the British, it was eventually still ruled under the Chinese. To go into further depth into the construction of Kowloon City, it was originally built as a military fort. As you can see, it's right here in the image where the whole city is right here. It's usually packed, and there's a lot of buildings and things around the city, and you can see how it's so empty right here. You can see how it's packed. And although it was originally, to go into further depth, it was originally supposed to be a military fort, and it was built with an office with government officials and barracks for 150 soldiers. Throughout the 30 years, the British government still tried to take control of the city, and although that happened, the Chinese still stepped in and got control of the city. Kowloon City was starting to become what it was known for after a year later, around May 1899. Rumors about the Chinese soldiers gathering up in the territory formed, which caused the British to send out troops to the city. And government officials abandoned the city after what happened, which left the city to become a city without rules. The British wanted to turn the city into a park, but the Chinese government and residents all stepped in to protest about it. Without these protests, the city could have already been demolished. Government is the main reason why they left the city alone. Without the residents and Chinese citizens speaking up against the British, the city would already gone and would be empty. Now that we talked about the development of Kowloon City, now we're going to talk about the consequences of the city. Kowloon City was a densely populated area that contained only 26,000 square meters in size. It was only one block of the city, but it was home for more than 33,000 residents. As you can see here, it's really tight and structured. There's a lot of people here, and there's a lot of buildings and stuff, and one tall landscape type of buildings. The British government tried to turn the city into a park, but the locals didn't feel pleased and eventually turned down the British consulate and consent. The Chinese and British government eventually had to abandon the city with no government action inside. Residents inside the city had to learn and set up a system of self-governance. Making sure the community was stable, there were no rules, which led to illegal activities like any type of organized crime, prostitution, and no license or certifications needed. As the population increased and attracted convicted criminals to come and head between the city walls. As this information only explains Kowloon City, it's a good prime example why populated cities tend to be dangerous too. A good look to this could be New Orleans. As the city is very populated, it has a lot of crimes at night, and people usually go missing. There's a lot of crimes. Now that we've discussed the development and the issues of Kowloon City, let's discuss the impact on culture. It has a very bad reputation, but it was a community to a lot of people and living inside. There were issues, but people managed to gather up in the city and gather up in different ways to solve them. These actions by the people in the city itself inspired many media firms like architecture, video games, films, and the stages. It inspired Call of Duty. As you can see here is the map of the Kowloon City. And this is like a little prime example of the business. And this is like a little tight square alley. As you can see here, this is how Call of Duty Black Ops got inspired by Kowloon City by a map location. And eventually the community formed and stayed stable inside by gathering up to solve solutions like the water pipe system. It's not cities that still exist today, but intelligence that came from the cities is the reason why the city even functioned. Where the ideas and quick thinking, it could be used in the modern world by teaching people how anything can be used as a solution. In conclusion, you guys learned what Kowloon City was and what even caused it. Kowloon City is a city that reminds government and people why it's not used to just overpopulate a certain city. I have told you guys about how Kowloon City started, the consequences of the city, and the impacts it left on culture. It has bad reputation, but it was a city that left a mark on its community in China. Thank you for coming here.